I need you to take a look at these faces. Alphabet's Eric Schmidt, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, Facebook's Sheryl Sandberg, and ex-Yahoo chief Marissa Mayer. Oh, let's not forget Apple's Steve Jobs and Microsoft's Bill Gates. They aren't just Silicon Valley's most powerful leaders. They share the same mentor. A name I'd never heard of, Bill Campbell. Who, you might ask? He spent 15 years shaping some of the tech world's most influential minds. He passed away in 2016. Now, this new book by some of his former pupils chronicles the leadership legacy that Campbell left behind. I'm joined by the authors of $1 Trillion Coach. Alan Eagle is Director of Executive Communications at Google. Jonathan Rosenberg is an advisor at Alphabet. And, of course, the former Executive Chairman, Eric Schmidt. Let's start with you, sir. Who was Bill Campbell?
Bill Campbell was a football coach who coached football until age 39 and then came west after working for Kodak to come to Apple, worked at Go, which he used to say fondly didn't go, and then Intuit, and then became, in his third life, a management coach.
What was it about Bill Campbell that was so good that he took all these people so high and that you decided to write a book about?
Well, we interviewed over 80 people in doing research for the book. And the one word that came up most often was love. Bill loved people, people loved Bill, and he made it okay to bring love into the workplace in, of course, the most appropriate way, but he made it okay to really care about teams and to really show up.
I've read 1 million books on leadership, as I'm sure you have, you all have. We've all read more than is honest or decent. What is different about Bill Campbell than, say, the Harvard books or anything? What was different?
Partly because he was successful. He's the most successful coach in history. The companies that he coached are worth close to $2 trillion in value. And his technique was as simple as it could possibly be. He listened, he was empathetic, and he worked people as a team.
What was the trick? What was the thing that he taught? I mean, I've leafed the book since I've been back, and, you know, I just open it at a glance. Does the aberrant genius have her priorities straight? Does the aberrant genius seek too much attention and self-promotion?
Well, he actually would build trust with people, and he would discover whether or not these people actually behaved honorably. And when he discovered that somebody wasn't behaving honorably or somebody didn't have the team's best interests at heart, he would cut them off. So he developed this level of trust that helped him really understand what was going on and who was telling the truth and who wasn't.
But when we wrote the book, we realized all of a sudden that to have a successful business, you need a coach of the business. And we thought he was coaching us as individuals, but no, he was coaching the whole team like a football team. And people would get out of position, and he would basically coach them back in one way or the other.
How difficult is it to create that? Because, you know, I can see many companies. In your lifetimes as bosses, you've all had mentors. You've had mentors, you've had professional mentors. You've had people who've guided you. What was the difference here?
You know, it's both very difficult and very simple. A lot of the things that Bill did, any of us can do as managers and leaders. You know, it starts with being a good manager, running a tight ship. Second, building trust, really listening to people, really having their back.
But almost everybody I know, the first reaction they have is, I don't need a coach. By the way, that was my reaction. That was his reaction. That was his reaction. We don't need coaches.
So what would you say to me if I say to you, I don't need a coach if I work for you?
I'd say, do tennis players have coaches?
Yes.
Yes. And the tennis players are better than the coaches, aren't they? And still they have coaches? Maybe coaching is different than doing.
So,
is every one of your shows terrific?
Oh, that's a very nasty question. Thank you not to go there.
What Bill would do if he were here is he'd tell you that you're the best host in the industry. And then one day, when you had a show that wasn't so good, he'd say, you know, you weren't your best today. You're much more likely to listen to somebody who behaves that way.
Notice he didn't say that you did a bad job. He said, you could have done better, and then you yourself make yourself better. That's what coaching is. Coaching is letting you see where you can be and getting you then. You have a quote, a Tom Landry quote.
Well, Tom Landry says, a coach can hear the things you don't want to hear and see the things that you can't see to help you become the person you always wanted to be. And that's what Bill did. He was an evangelist for courage. He was a man who made us better every day.
I find it fascinating because you're all leaders And in your time, you have run businesses with thousands of people, tens of thousands of people underneath you. And you all have the humility to say, I needed this.
By the way, that's something that Bill taught, is humility. And in fact, if you are not humble, you're probably not coachable.
The number one thing you would look for in coachability is humility and the willingness to learn. It's what you know after you know it all that counts. It's what you learn after you know it all that counts.
In Silicon Valley, doesn't every executive at the age of 40 seem to know everything? Certainly, I thought I knew absolutely everything, but I knew almost nothing.
That was me. And what Bill did was he broke you down. He taught me that I didn't understand the words on the walls that you see in every office about people: support, trust, respect, challenge them to get better. And when he showed me that I wasn't doing those for my people, he explained to me that wasn't leadership.
Gentlemen, thank you. It's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.